ባለፈው arithmetic sequence-ን አይተናል as well as arithmetic mean የሚለውን አይተናል arithmetic sequence ላይ ምን ብለናል በተመሳሳይ ቁጥር ወይም በcommon difference ያላቸው ሲጨምሩ ወይም ደግሞ ሲቀንሱ ነገር ግን በሁለት consecutive terms መካከል ያለው value the same መሆን አለበት ያም common difference እንለዋለን ብለናል at the same time the nth term of that arithmetic sequence ምን ብለናል a1 plus n minus 1 times what the common difference d ብለን አይተናል arithmetic mean በሁለት ተርሞች መካከል አንድ value insert ማድረግ ከቻል we call that is arithmetic mean እንለዋለን that arithmetic mean arithmetic sequence ውስጥ ሆኖ ስለዚህ arithmetic mean-ን include ስናደርግ ያሉን ተርሞች በሙሉ ምን መሆን አለባቸው ማለት ነው arithmetic sequence-ን የሚያሳዩ መሆን አለባቸው ብለን አይተን ነበር ስለዚህ ዛሬ geometric sequence የሚለውን እናያለን what the difference between geometric sequence እና arithmetic sequence የሚለውን ለማየት first let's try to define what is geometric sequence or progression ማለት ምን ማለት ነው የሚለው ስናይ geometric sequence or progression is one in which the ratio between what two consecutive term is non-zero fixed or constant መሆን አለበት ወይም ደግሞ ተለዋዋጭ ያልሆነ እዛ ጋር ምንድነው ያየነው የሁለት ተርሞች difference ብለናል that means a2 minus what a1 is equals the common difference is equal to what an plus 1 minus what an ጋር እኩል ነው ብለን ነበር እዚህ ጋር ግን ስንመጣ ምንድነው ሬሾዋቸውን ነው የምንወስደው ሬሾ ማለት አንዱ በአንዱ ሲባዛ ማለት ነው አንዱ በአንዱ ሲባዛ ለምሳሌ ሁለተኛው ተርም ከሆነ በመጀመሪያው ተርም ጋር በኮንስታንት ሲባዛ የሶስተኛው ተርም የሁለተኛው ተርም በሆነ ኮንስታንት ሲባዛ ወይም ሁለተኛው ተርም በመጀመሪያው ተርም ሲካፈል ወይም የመጨረሻው ተርም ከመጨረሻው ቀጥሎ ባለው ተርም ሲካፈል የሚገኘው ሬሾ ውጤት አንድ አይነት የሚሆን ከሆነ we call that is geometric sequence እንለዋለን ማለት ነው the constant term we call that is what we call that is common ratio and it is denoted by r and our an in case of arithmetic sequence like an ያልነው እዚህ በምን ይገለጻል geometric sequence በgn ብለን እንገልጸዋለን ማለት ነው is a geometric sequence if and only if gn plus 1 is equals r times gn and r is element of what real number and common ratio is what different from 0 መሆን አለበት ለምን gn plus 1 over gn ማለት እዚህ ጋር r ነው አይደለም ስለዚህ r 0 ማለት ምን ማለት ነው this is the nth term whatever the case always it is constant 0 ነው የሚሆነው so it doesn't work for the case of what common ratio 0 መሆን አይችልም different from 0 መሆን አለበት የሚለውን እዚህ ጋር እናያለን ማለት ነው and here we have a theorem as we did for the case of what arithmetic sequence ላይ እንዳየነው ዝም ጋር theorem አለ what says that if gn is a geometric progression with the first term is what that is g1 common ratio is r the nth term is given as such forms it says let's try to show this one how can you show this as we know that this is g2 is equal to what we say that g2 divided by what g1 is equal to we say that is r which implies what is g1 g2 sorry g2 is equal to what r times what this is the first term g1 similarly we say that g3 divided by g2 the second term is what the same ratio we said here since gn plus 1 over gn is equals what gn over what gn minus 1 is equals the same r is equals what g2 divided by 1 the same g1 you know if that's so this implies what is g3 g3 means what this is r times what this is g2 here one from this one if say this is 1 as we did before this g2 is what r times g1 then this becomes what r into what r times what this is g1 but the same the product sorry this is r square times what this is g1 similarly you can continue in similar way that means the fourth term divided by the third term is equals what the common ratio r what that g4 is equals what r times what the third term g3 which is equal to what r from this one here we have what g3 this is r into r square what this is g1 but the value this is equal to r the power of 3 times what this is g1 if we continue in this way what we observe here እዚህ ጋር ምን እናያለን እዚህ ጋር ስናይ ምን ሆናል ማለት the nth term ሁሉም ጋር ስናያቸው what's their differenceአቸው ስናይ እዚህ ጋር ምን ሆናል ማለት ነው 3 ስንል 3 ሲሆን r square g1 ነው 2 ስንል r times g1 ነው 4 ስንል r cube g1 ነው ስለዚህ the power of r is what common ratioአቸው power በስንት ይቀንሳል በአንድ ስለሚቀንስ we call this is what r the power of what n minus 1 times g1 here what this is what the nth term that we want to find which is equal to what we want to show ማሳየት የፈለግነው ጋር the same result ይሆናል ማለት therefore this is equal to the result that we use to find what any nth term of what a geometric sequence ለማግኘት በዛ አይነት መንገድ መጠቀም እንችላለን ማለት ነው I think this is so clear yes so we'll continue to the next one examples for the geometric sequence it is given 3 6 12 and 24 48 find the common ratio r and the sixth term as well as ninth term የተጠየቀው ምንድነው common ratioአቸው sixth term እና ninth term ተጠይቀናል እዚህ ጋር observe ስናደርግ የመጀመሪያው term ማነው that is g1 is equal to 3 ተሰጥቶናል what about g2 g2 is equal to 6 ነው ስለዚህ r is equal to what we can say this is g2 divided by g1 ማለት እንችላለን this is what 6 divided by what that is 3 equal to 2 ነው ሌሎችንም ቼክ ማድረግ እንችላለን 12 ሲካፈል ለ6 2 ነው 4 ለ12 2 ነው 48 ለ24 2 ነው ስለዚህ the same common ratio አላቸው ማለት ነው yes it is correct geometric sequence ነው ማለት ነው geometric sequence መሆኑንም ተነግሮናል as well as we can check it like this ይሄን ካል በኋላ what is the sixth term ማለት g6 is equal to what r the power of what 5 times what this is the first one that is g1 which is equal to what is that the common ratio is 2 to the power of 5 is times what which is equal to that is 3 to the power of 5 mal that is 32 times that is 3 is equal to what ምን ይሆናል 96 ይሆናል ማለት 96 ይሆናል what about the ninth term similarly g9 is equal to what r the power of what 8 times this is g1 ይሆናል that means r the power of 8 means what to the power of 8 times this is 3 ይሄንን ብለን ማስቀመጥ እንችላለን or if you want you can express this as a formulas g the power of 8 means what in terms of what g6 express ማለት ስለምንችል this is to the power of 5 times to the power of 3 times what 3 is ስለሰራ ነው ማለት ምን ይሆናል ይሄ to the power of 5 times 3 ማለት 96 ስለሆነ this is equal to what 96 times what that is 8 ይሆናል ማለት this is times 8 6 ሲባዛው 8 ምን ሆነ 48 8 ሲባዛ በ9 72 ይሆናል እዛ 4 ስላለን 76 ይሆናል ማለት ስለዚህ 768 ይሆናል ማለት ነው በዛ አይነት መንገድ ሌሎችንም መስራት እንችላለን ማለት ነው let us consider the next one find the seventh term of what the geometric sequence whose first term is 6 and whose fourth term is what it says that 100 1 over what 1 over 36 ይላል ስለዚህ የተጠየቅነው የትኛው ነው 7th term ነው የተሰጠን that is first term ተሰጥቶናል so it is given that g1 is equal to what that is 6 and g4 is what it is given 1 over what 36 but we want to find what the 7th term g7 is equal to what to find this one first we'll try to find r common ratio ማግኘት ግድ ይለናል ማለት ነው if that's so ምን ይሆናል g4 ማለት this is equal to what r to the power of 3 times what g1 ይሄንን ፎርሙላ አፕላይ እናደርጋለን which is equals 1 over 36 is equal to r to the power of 3 what times what g1 6 ነው what is r to the power of 3 or r cube ማለት r cube is equal to what 1 over 36 times what this is 6 ይሆናል ማለት which is equal to ስለዚህ ምን ይሆናል 1 over what 6 the whole what the power of 3 ይሆናል ማለት the power of 3 what does imply this implies that r is equal to 1 over what 6 ይሆናል ስለዚህ common ratioአችን 1 over 6 ስለሚሆን we can find what the seventh term ማግኘት እንችላለን ማለት ነው ለምን ምክንያቱም common ratio አግኝተናል common ratio ካገኘን በኋላ we can find seventh term of our problem. That means G7 is equals what? R the power of 6 times what? That is G1. This is equal to 1 over 6 the power of 6 times what? G1 is what? That is 6. This implies the same base ስላላቸው እዚህ ጋር power 1 ነው እዚህ 6 ስለሆነ which is equals 1 over what? አንድ አይነት ቤዝ ስላላቸው ፓወራቸው የተለያየ ስለሆነ we can subtract 1 from 6. This is 6 the power of what? 5 ይሆናል. This is G7. ይሄ ማለት ምን ማለት ነው? 1 over what? This is 6 the power of what? 3 times what? 6 the power of 2 ይሆናል. 6 the power of 3 ማለት ምን ይሆናል? This is 1 over what? 260 I think so, yes. This one times what? This one is 36. 36 times 6 ማለት 216 ስለሆነ 36 times 6 this is 6 21 is here 216 times what? That is 36. ይሄን እናባዛለን 6 times 6 ሲባዛ ስንት ነው? 36 ይሆናል አይደል? 6 and you have 3 3 times 1 6 times 1 6 ስለሚሆን that is 9 6 times 2 that is 12 3 times 6 that is 18 we have 1 3 times 1 3 we have 1 that is 4 ይሆናል 3 ሲባዛ 2 ምን ይሆናል? 6 ስለዚህ ምን ይሆናል? this is 6 ይሆናል 9 plus 8 that is 17 2 plus 4 that is 6 7 here is 7 ስለዚህ ምን ይሆናል ማለት ነው? which is equal to 1 over what? 7 7 7 6 ብለን በዛ አይነት መንገድ ማስቀመጥ እንችላለን or you have to put it as it is or we can say this is 1 over what? 6 the power of 5 ብለን ማስቀመጥ እንችላለን. This is the seventh term that we want to find. ልናገኝ የፈለግነው G7 ይሄ ይሆናል ማለት ነው. በዛ አይነት መንገድ መግለጽ እንችላለን ማለት ነው. ቻናሉን share like እና subscribe እንድታደርጉ. The next one is geometric mean. Previously ምን አይተናል? arithmetic mean አይተናል. እዚህ ጋር ግን corresponding with that one that we consider here is geometric mean. When A, M, B are terms in geometric sequence. እነዚህ terms in geometric sequence ቢሆኑ the M is called geometric mean between what? A and B እንለዋለን. በA እና በB መካከል geometric mean የምንለው መቼ ነው? If you have what? That common ratioአቸው ምን ብለናል? Common ratio between the ratio between what? Two consecutive geometric terms. That means M over A is equal to what? B over what? M መሆን አለበት. This is the same R መሆን ስላለባቸው. ይሄ ማለት ይሄ የሚያሳየን the same common ratio ስለሆኑ R ስለሚሆን we can equate them. This implies that here is M times M square is equal to what? A times B ይሆናል ማለት ነው. What does imply? This implies that M is equal to what? The square root of plus or minus the square root of A times B ይሆናል. This we call ምን እንለዋለን? geometric mean እንለዋለን. geometric mean እዛ ጋር ስንመጣ ምንድነው? arithmetic mean ነው. arithmetic mean ላይ ምን ብለናል? በመካከላቸው ያለው ዲፈረንስ ተመሳሳይ ስለሆነ common difference ስላላቸው average mean ነው ብለናል. average ወይም ደግሞ arithmetic mean average ይሆናል ብለናል በሁለት ተርሞች መካከል ከሆነ። እዚህ ጋር ስንመጣ ግን geometric mean ይሆናል. geometric ለምን? it becomes what? the square of their common ratio ማን ነው? are the same ratio ስለሚኖራቸው m ደግሞ between the two numbers ስለሚሆን it becomes what? m is equals what? the plus or minus of the square root of what? a ይሆናል ማለት ነው. for any two geometric sequences የተሰጡ ሁለት geometric sequences ከሆኑ በመካከላቸው አንድ ኢንሰርት አደረግን ማለት ኢንሰርት ስናደርግ ምን ይሆናል? m over a እና b over m እኩል ስለሚሆኑ ለምን geometric sequence ላይ ሁለት ተከታታይ ተርሞች ምን አላቸው ማለት ተመሳሳይ ሬሽዮ አላቸው ብለናል። በዛ መሰረት using that rule ይሄን ሩል አፕላይ አድርገን ስንሰራ m ምን ይሆናል? plus or minus the square root of what? the product of what? the two given terms. እነዚህ የተሰጡን ተርሞች ግን ምን መሆን አለባቸው? both are different from 0 መሆን አለባቸው። 0 ከሆኑ 0 divide by number 0 ስለሚሆን ስለዚህ ሁለት consecutive የሆኑ geometric sequences that 0 times some value ከሆነ ምን ይሆናል? always 0 ስለሚሆን it doesn't change for the given value ስለማያመጣ so the ratio must be what? different from 0 መሆን ተርሞቹ በሙሉ different from 0 መሆን አለባቸው ማለት ነው። now using that definition let's try to find what the geometric mean between what 3 and what 12. directly geometric mean apply በማድረግ m is equal plus or minus the square root of their product ማድረግ እንችላለን geometric mean m is equal to what plus or minus the square root of what the product of a and b let's say this our a is what that is 3 let's say our b is what that is 12 which is equivalent to what which is equivalent to plus or minus the square root of what 3 times what this is 12 which is equal to this is plus or minus of what that is 36 what is that which implies m is plus or minus what that is 6 so the value of m is what m is equivalent to what that is 6 or it can be what negative 6 and then check it whether it satisfies or not check mark when you check this one that means if it is 6 what this is 3 6 and what 12 or if you take a negative 6 it becomes what 3 negative 6 and what that is 12 consider and check their ratio 6 divided by 3 that is 2 12 divided by 6 that is 2 negative 6 divided by 3 negative 2 12 divided by negative 6 negative 2 so they have the same common ratio yes this has common ratio r which is equal to 2 this one common ratio r is equal to negative 2 yes so since they have the same common ratio for this part the same common ratio for this part that implies that it becomes what geometric mean እንለዋለን and the sequence is what geometric sequence ይሆናል ማለት in general this is a geometric sequence both are what both are geometric sequence ናቸው እንላለን ወይም progression እንላለን ማለት ስለዚህ በዚህ አይነት መንገድ ማሳየት ይቻላል ማለት ወይም ደግሞ geometric sequence property apply በማድረግ ያ ማለት ነው ማለት ነው the second term divided by the first the third term divided by the second they are equal በማድረግ በመስራት we can find the values the other one in geometric sequence the second term is what that is 12 is given the sixth term is what 192 given then we ask her to find what the 10th term አስረኛውን term ነው የተጠየቀው የተሰጠን ምን አለ that is g2 is given which is equal to 12 and the sixth term that means g6 is what that is given 192 we ask her to find what the 10th term of this geometric sequence ነው የተጠየቀው ስለዚህ 10th term ለማግኘት ምን ማግኘት ይተበቅብን ማለት ነው g1 as well as what the common ratio ስለዚህ ማግኘት ግድ ይለናል ማለት ነው g2 in terms of g1 ስንገልጸው ምን ብለናል from the above information we have that g2 is equal r times g1 ይሆናል g1 ነው similarly g6 ማለት which is equal to what r to the power of 5 ይሆናል we have to apply the formula ይሄን ካል g1 እና g6 ስለተሰጡ ምን ይሆናል this means divide both sides by what for instance g6 divided by g2 is equal to what r to the power of 5 times g1 over what r times g1 ይሆናል ማለት g6 ማለት ስንት ነው 192 ተሰጥቷል divided by that is 12 is equal to we cancel g1 by g1 what remains this is r to the power of what 4 ይሆናል ለምን እዚህ ያለው power 1 ነው እዚህ ጋር 5 ስለሆነ you have to subtract what the exponentoቹን እናቀናንሳለን ለምን ተመሳሳይ ቤዝ ስላላቸው እዚህ ጋር ስንመጣ 192 ሲካፈል ለ12 ማለት ስንት ይሆናል 16 እኩል ይሆናል r to the power of 4 ይሆናል this implies what r is equal to what the fourth root of what fourth root of 16 ይሆናል which is equal to what the value that is equal to 2 ነው ማለት ነው common ratioችን r is equals 2 ከሆነ what is g1 ማግኘት እንችላለን that means 2 times g1 from this is equal to what that is 12 what is g1 is equal to 6 ይሆናል ማለት ነው g1 6 ከሆነ you can find what the 10th term means what g10 is equal to what r to the power of 9 times g1 ይሆናል to the power of 9 times our g1 is what that is 6 which is equal to ምን ይሆናል 6 ማለት 2 times 3 ስለሆነ this is to the power of 10 times what that is 3 ይሆናል ወይም አስፈላጊ ከሆነ to the power of 10 ማለት ምን ማለት ነው you have to calculate it this is to the power of 10 means to the power of 5 times to the power of 5 times what this is 3 ይሆናል to the power of 5 ማለት 32 ነው ይሄም 32 ስለሚሆን 32 times 3 is what 96 ይሆናል 96 times what this is 32 መሆን ይችላል the other one if it says that if x 4x plus 3 7x plus 6 are what consecutive terms of what geometric sequence ነው ተብለናል ይሄን ከሆነ then find the value of what x ነው የተባለው x is different from 0 if that's so how can we find this one we know that here is 4x plus 3 over x is equivalent to what equivalent to 7x plus what 6 over this is 4x plus what that is 3 ይሆናል ማለት you have to apply this is what the common ratio r ነው የሚሆነው ብለን you have to apply this ይሆናል ስለዚህ በዚህ መሰረት ስንሰራ this implies what here is 4x plus 3 the whole square crisscross this one is equal to what 7x plus 6 what times what this is x ይሆናል which is equal to 4x times 4x that is 16x square 4x plus times 3 that is 12 yes it becomes what 24x plus 3 times 3 that is 9 is equal to this is 7x square plus what this is 6x here we have collect like terms or take this to the left side ይሄንን ወደ left side ስንወስደው ምን ይሆናል 16x square minus 7x is what that is 9x square 24x minus 6x is what that is plus what 18x 18x plus here is 9 is equal to 0 here we have 9 is common when take 9 common or divide both sides by 9 what remains here is x square plus 2x plus what 1 is equal to what this is 0 this implies that x plus what the whole square is equal to that is 0 what the value of x this implies x is equal to -1 therefore the value of x that we have is what x is equal to -1 ከፈለጋችሁ ቼክ ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ this result whether it gives a geometric sequence or not if substitute this is -4x times that means 4x means what 4 times -1 that is -4 plus 3 still this is -1 the other one is what 7 times -1 is what that is -7 plus 6 is what this is -1 constant term ነው ማለት ነው የሚያሳየው this is constant term የሆነ geometric sequence ነው ያለን ማለት ነው if you want to express gn ምን ይሆናል this is r the power of n minus 1 that means the same g1 ይሆናል this means what our gn is what always -1 ይሆናል so it is constant ይሆናል ስለዚህ በዛ አይነት መንገድ ሌሎችንም መስራት እንችላለን ቻናሉን ሼር ሰብስክራይብ ላይክ እንድታደርጉ አሁንም አስተዋውሳችኋለሁ መልካም ጊዜ እመኛለሁ አመሰግናለሁ